Hi, I'm Hui. So let me talk about the rest of the part. The first one is methodology. This experiment adopted a quantitative research method because they use data to present research findings. I would like to explain methodology from 5 aspects: participants, procedures, instruments, type of data, and analysis. Firstly, the participants for this experiment were from a university in Shandong Province, China. They are all freshmen, majoring in English and all around 90 years old. Importantly, they were all from different provinces and they can represent intermediate English level, so geographic and economic differences can be controlled well. In addition, in this experiment, the teacher is also a very important factor, so researchers allowed one bilingual teacher to teach students, so that they can control the interference from original teachers. What's more, 1.5 hours of teaching per week and a total of 9 weeks for research, 6 weeks for teaching intervention, 2 weeks for deleted test. Okay, this is the flowchart of this experiment. The researchers divided these participants into 4 proficiency levels, and then they randomly assigned these students from the 4 levels to the 3 different teaching conditions. So next, I would like to talk about the instructional intervention. The table above clearly shows the 3 teaching conditions, while the below one is a simplified version. In the first condition, no code switching, students only receive vocabulary input in second language. The second one is in code switching condition, students receive vocabulary input in both second language and the first language. And the last one is in control condition, students didn't receive any kinds of vocabulary input. Next, I will use this abbreviation for my further introduction, like NCS, CS, CONT. You can see the flowchart on the left. Different teaching conditions have different processes. The 3 conditions are the same for the first 2 steps, but after that, in NCS and CS condition, teacher play the recording again in segment and also vocabulary written on blackboard so that students can focus on new vocabulary. While in CONT condition, they just discuss listening comprehension. We then turn to the flowchart on the right. You can clearly see when the researchers took the pre-test, post-test, and deleted test. I just want to remind that researchers administered the baseline proficiency test and the vocabulary pre-test to the student before the instructional intervention began. Also, the students took the deleted test after 2 weeks. So next, you can see the 3 tests in this research. Vocabulary test as instrument. Appendix 1 is a vocabulary baseline test, which was designed by the researcher together with the post-test to measure the effectiveness of intervention. This test actually is very reliable because it scored at 0.75 alpha. And Appendix 5 is vocabulary knowledge scale used in all vocabulary tests. Appendix 4 is example of listening text showing target word. As I said before, the researchers use quantitative research method, so they collect quantitative data. Also, the researchers further process the data and obtain descriptive statistics, which were presented in Table 1, while parametric statistics will be covered in my upcoming presentation. So we turn to the next part, results and the interpretation of analysis. We need to recall the research question mentioned earlier. For the first question, you can see the flowchart. To test the normal distribution of the data, the researchers use the KS test of normality, and then they can perform parametric statistics, a repeated measure ANOVA, by greenhouse gas estimate of sphericity, correct the degree of freedom. They found that time has a significant effect on results. Also, by Bonferroni multiple comparison, it showed that different performance in pre-test, post-test, and deleted test. Finally, after performing ANCOVA, the first question got the result. Lexical Focus-on-Form is beneficial in meaning-focused activity. For the second question, the data of NCS and CS in Table 3, it is evident that lexical focus-on-form appeared to improve their vocabulary knowledge in the 6 combined post-tests, but dropped it at deleted test. In order to test whether there is a between-group differences, by ANCOVA, they found that there was no significant group effect on post-test scores after controlling the effect of pre-test scores. However, there were no significant between the NCS and CS deleted test. So the result is teachers' code switching has positive effect on second language vocabulary acquisition. For the third question, the researchers first calculate the gain score made by each of the 2 treatment groups in combined post-test. You can see the table 3. Then, using ANCOVA, they found that proficiency was not a significant covariate of the gain scores. Actually, all these research questions were addressed. You can just take a very quick look at these 3 results again. And then I would like to make a conclusion about this article. First one is lexical focus-on-form is better than incidental learning. The second one is teachers' code switching has positive reinforcement to the learner's outperformance than providing second language only information. Learner's proficiency level has no cause and effect relation with second language acquisition. So let's move on next part. This research has 2 limitations. The first one, this experiment was highly controlled so that the result of this study would not be applied for a normal classroom context. And also, the test result is not reliable as students were being acknowledged about the target word in post-test. But this research also provides some suggestions for the further research. For the first one, whether there are any second language vocabulary need to be taught in first language instruction, and also similar research could be conducted in the future to build up the relationship between the teachers' code switching and the second language lexical teaching and learning. And that's all in my part. Thanks.